Hello and welcome to Locator Gaming. Today I wanted to do another vlog. I had originally set out to do these probably about every month or two, but admittedly it's been quite a while since the last one. But I wanted to give a real quick channel update and talk about a discussion topic that has come to mind because I've been getting a lot of updates on Kickstarters and things that I pledged to on GameFound that just made me realize how many adventure games and like dungeon crawl, boss monster type games we're going to have delivering and able to play over the course of the next year and probably a couple years. So this is intended to be a discussion topic, so I do really want to hear in the comments what types of games like this that you're looking forward to getting to play in the next year, and any other comments that might come up about some of the games that I mentioned while we go through. I am going to switch to another view. Normally I would record these in front of my bookshelf over there that's got all the games on it, but I'm going to go to a different view so we can look at some of the Kickstarter pages, websites for the games, GameFound pages, to talk about the games. It's not going to be a very long video. I just wanted to talk about some stuff that is going to be upcoming on the channel and start a discussion and hear some of your thoughts in the comments on any of these games that you're looking forward to or anything that I left off the list. Not that I really need any more games to pledge to after you'll see this list, but I am very interested in hearing what other people have found or are looking forward to playing. Okay, so I'm going to start with an honorable mention here because most of the stuff I'm going to talk about are games that I have pledged to and I'm looking forward to playing here on the channel. But this first one here, I admittedly missed out on. Dungeon Universalis. So I kind of missed out on this one. So I wanted to include this here because it is an adventure game and I'm pretty sure that the Kickstarter will be delivering in 2022, maybe before that, maybe 2023. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to be delivering, but I know this one will be coming out again soon. And the first edition is already in, the first printing, sorry, not first edition, first printing is in people's hands already. And I think that people really do like it. It seems interesting to me because it, if you can just see from this picture, it does look like a table hog. There are lots of components there. I'm hoping it's not too fiddly, but I did want to just put it up here again because I really like to hear in comments from people if you have this game, have played this game, know anything about this game. I may try to get this maybe on the secondary market because it does look interesting. I think the tagline for it right here, large tactical depth, exploration of a real dungeon crawler, the options of RPG, the balance of a skirmish war game. It seems kind of interesting. It seems pretty sandboxy maybe. So again, that's Dungeon Universalis. Leave me any comments down below if you know anything about this game, have it, or are looking forward to it. Okay, so the next one, this is not a 2022 game. This is a game that I wanted to put on here just to highlight that this just came in for me. And in fact, it's like one of the things that has me excited is right here on the table in front of me. This is the storybook from Middara. Look at how huge this thing is. This is like a novel or two worth of story. So expect Middara to be on the channel very soon. I have the miniatures, I primed them today, and I will start painting them. I have seen Rob on Rob's Gaming Table play a little bit of this. I've watched Kanjay play a little bit, seen a couple other videos, and it finally made me take the plunge into Act 1 of this. And I've heard that the Pledge Manager will be opening up again soon for Act 2s and 3. So if I enjoy what I'm playing with this game, then I will probably get Act 2 and 3 as well. So that's Middara. Not a 2022 game, but for me, it'll be an adventure game that will be being played over the course of the next year, year and a half-ish. Okay, so Descent Legends of the Dark. This is probably the most controversial game at the moment. There have been quite a few videos over the last month and forum posts and things about how worried, I guess, people are about this game after watching a playthrough that some folks at Fantasy Flight did. So I have pre-ordered this game, and it's supposed to be delivering in the next week and a half or so. I admittedly have not played first edition or second edition of Descent, although at one point or another I did own both of them. I resold the second one, and I still have my copy of the first edition over on my shelf. I just never had a chance to actually play it. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I also am not someone who generally likes playing board games on the computer, although I'll talk about Tabletop Simulator a little bit later. So app-driven games really haven't done it for me, really. However, going again back to Rob's gaming table, having watched him and Mel play the Middle-earth Journeys game and some Mansions of Madness, those looked pretty fun. So that kind of got me into thinking, you know what, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a try. So I'll see how it goes. Expect to see this one on the channel also when it comes in. And I'm going to be going into it with a completely open mind and without any comparison to Descent 1 or first edition and second edition. Even though this is not a third edition, that's been thrown around a lot too, that it's not Descent 3.0. It's another game in the Descent universe. So that's Descent Legends of the Dark. That one should be coming in fairly soon. Okay, this is the Frosthaven page, and I have this on the update. Based on the other stuff on my channel, basically the channel started with Jaws of the Lion during the pandemic last year. I'm 33 episodes, I think, into Gloomhaven. I've got some Gloomhaven stuff still here on the table from the last recording. So it should be no surprise that I'm a huge Gloomhaven fan. I don't know about huge, but I'm a Gloomhaven fan. So I'm really looking forward to Frosthaven. And this just was like a holy cow moment in the last update for Frosthaven. So this is if you haven't seen it before, it's a side-by-side comparison. On the left-hand side there, you've got the contents of the Gloomhaven box, which at the time I think was the heaviest, biggest box that I had, probably until my Too Many Bones and Cloudspire stuff came in. But then on the right-hand side there, you've got the white box sample for Frosthaven. And it just shows how much more content is going into the box. Now, more content doesn't always mean good game. You could throw a whole bunch of bad cardboard in a box, but just because there's more cardboard doesn't mean it's going to be a better game or a great game or a good game or anything. But knowing the fun that I've had with Gloomhaven and Jaws of the Lion, I'm expecting good things from Frosthaven. I mean, even just looking here, there's 10 more punch boards, 5 more card decks. Look at the item cards, went from 133 to 404. Scenarios went from 95 to 138. There's 14 more unlockable envelopes. So we're getting a lot more content with Frosthaven than we got in Gloomhaven. So what's the next one I've got here? Chronicles of Drunagor. So this is an expansion project on GameFound. So this original game, I think, came out last year. I don't remember for sure. And I don't think it's any secret from the stuff that I put up on my channel. I like to paint miniatures and put miniatures and things together. So far, I think all of the games that have been on here have been miniatures games. Frosthaven and Gloomhaven, I mean, they're not the best miniatures, although I know they've said in the Frosthaven stuff that they are trying to make the miniatures in Frosthaven better than before. But I have this page here. I'm like, just look at that miniature. That is going to be fun to paint. And this is from the expansion, I believe. Yeah, the Apocalypse expansion for Chronicles of Drunagor. I hadn't heard a whole lot about this game before, but after it came out, it was getting a lot of buzz. So I'm actually looking forward to eventually getting this. I don't know. This is still going on, this particular game found campaign. And holy cow, look at all that content in the all-in. Again, a bunch of content doesn't mean great game, but it just goes to show that you're not going to be wishing you had more to do here. I don't think. Who knows? I mean, maybe you'd be wishing there was less if it's not a good game, but it's getting a lot of buzz from people who play these kind of games, so and from people who I have agreed with their reviews in the past. So I'm thinking that I have a good chance of liking this game as well. And again, holy cow, look at that miniature. And I don't think that's just a render unless they plopped the render down in this picture, because there's that miniature sitting right there. These little tiny barbs, I mean, I question those showing up on the miniature actually, and the little tiny horns. But it is a 255 millimeter miniature, so maybe they're not that tiny. This thing is just screaming out for some dry brushing to make that stuff pop out. Okay, the next one, Oathsworn. So this is Oathsworn, and I'm on this particular spot on the page for a reason. I'll come back down here, but just so you can see, it's Oathsworn. Another dungeon crawly. This one you might be able to classify it in a dungeon crawly boss monster kind of setting, kind of like some other stuff I'll talk about in a little bit. But one of the things that really intrigued me about this particular campaign, you can see it a little bit here. They've got some of the miniatures kind of blacked out that you can't see them. And then back down to where I was on the page, we'll go past some of the characters. Some of the monsters and some of the stuff for the game is kind of legacy-like, where you don't know what's going to be there. I remember during the campaign there are people who were like, well, before I buy a miniatures game, I want to see the miniatures. So they did create this video where you could spoil it for yourself and actually see what the miniatures are, but I didn't do it. I'm actually very interested to see how this goes. So when I get to one of these boxes and open it up, I'll have to prime and paint the miniature. Obviously, you have to do it before you play it on camera, right? Before I get it up on camera. So that's Oathsworn, another dungeon crawly, possibly maybe boss monster, you could say, kind of game to play. This is Bardsung. So when I was going through and looking at stuff that I had backed and things that are coming in, I have to admit something, and I'm slightly ashamed to say this. I can't remember why I backed Bardsung. Other than maybe it was retail therapy during the pandemic, and I was obviously and am obviously on a campaign dungeon crawl kick on buying and playing. So here's another one. I mean, I'm probably gonna have dungeon crawl content to play for a very long time. And it'll be interesting to see how they all compare with a lot of these things coming out at the same time. And kind of one of the reasons why I want to do this video, it's like there's a lot of these that are going to be hitting and fulfilling all at the same time. So it'll be very interesting to see how they compare. So here's another one. This one did catch me because it's a little different. So it's Stars, and I don't even know how to say the second word, Stars of Akarios maybe? I can't remember for sure. But this is kind of a campaign dungeon crawly game, but it's in space. Hey, you get a little twist, and you can get people like me, junkies for campaign games, to pledge to your campaign. Something different. Even the miniatures, it'll be interesting to paint. I should have had this on earlier, but it'll be interesting to paint, some ships like this instead of just monsters and things. And I know there are some with like shields. There are some actual characters. So that's kind of why I was looking at this one. Or one of the reasons was, let's try a campaign game in a different setting. I liked the idea of that. I wasn't turned off by the gameplay and the rules and stuff that I saw from it. So I'm kind of looking forward to that one. I don't know for sure if this one is going to fulfill soon or not. I mean, obviously you can see here estimated delivery August 2021, and I don't think they're shipping it soon. So it might still apply into that 2022 title I had for this discussion. So speaking of things not delivering on time, this next one is one that I'm hopeful for, but is already very late. Trudvang Legends. A Simon, Come On, Cool Mini or Not, whatever they're called today, title. It's also an Eric Lang game. Sort of, I guess. I think he worked on it for a little bit. He might still be consulting on it, but he's no longer at Simon, so I don't know how much involvement he has in the continuing development of this game. I remember specifically one of the things that attracted me to this game was the board. They're doing an interesting thing with having the board have these like little pockets, and it's modular, and it will change throughout the campaign. It's been so long now I don't really remember anything about the gameplay, but that's one of the things that really stuck out for me. And as you can see right here on the Kickstarter page, estimated delivery December 2020. Yeah, that didn't happen. And I know they did an update a while ago where they said there were some things about the gameplay that they didn't really like, that might not have been fun. So they've gone back to the drawing board on some stuff. So hopefully we can trust that Cool Mini or Not, Simon, Come On, whatever you want to call them, or whatever they want to be called, is going to actually produce a good game here. I'm going to transition a little bit. Most of these games, you could say, wow, you just back stuff because you want to get a lot of miniatures, or if you see something with a lot of miniatures, you're going to back it. So not true. 7th Citadel would not be a game that I would call a miniatures game. I have another video on my channel where I talk about why I was excited for the 7th Citadel when the campaign was going. I have loved 7th Continent since it came out. Talking about the miniatures a little bit, I did paint all the miniatures that came with the 7th Continent, even though they were really tiny and didn't have very many sharp details or whatever, but they still came out cool and added to the experience for me. I don't think the miniatures are going to be anything to write home about on the 7th Citadel, but if the story and the gameplay is as intriguing as 7th Continent was, at least for me, then I can't wait until 7th Citadel delivers. You can go back and watch my other video on all of the things about that had me excited when it came out. Okay, so this next one is not a new game by any means. It's actually a fairly old game, but it is going to be new to me, hopefully fairly soon. And this is Kingdom Death Monster, and I'm on this particular part of the update page for a reason, because I picked up Kingdom Death Monster version 1.6 during the Black Friday sale last year. And we just got an update yesterday about production on that particular batch, edition, I should say. And it's going to be, the first batch of 1.6 will be finished printing on August 10th. And then who knows with all the shipping problems that are going on when this will deliver. I may do another video about Kingdom Death Monster because Kingdom Death Monster currently is the most upgraded and expanded game that I own. Let me rephrase that. It's the most expanded and updated game that I don't actually own yet, because I don't even have the base game, but I've got tons of stuff that I've been collecting for it over the last probably 2 years or so. Kingdom Death Monster can be in a very expensive game. However, it also doesn't have to be a very expensive game. I have been watching eBay and watching their website for sales and picking things up on Etsy here and there. getting some stuff secondhand market off of BGG, and not paying super inflated prices for things. And I've just been collecting it. I have never played a physical copy of Kingdom Death Monster. And this is where I alluded to earlier, I was going to talk about Tabletop Simulator. I have played some Kingdom Death Monster on Tabletop Simulator. Some solo, and I actually did do one stream on Kanjay Studios' YouTube page with him playing a game of Kingdom Death Monster. So like I said, I might do another video where I show off some of the things that I've got for it, but this one kind of starts the section here. I'm going to talk about some boss monster fight games that are coming in, but I'm actually really looking forward to playing the physical copy of Kingdom Death Monster. And again, I like the hobby aspect, so I have been putting models together and painting models for this game already from the expansion sets. So one of the reasons why this game does intrigue me is because of the quality of the models, and it appeals to the hobby aspect for me. So the next one kind of connects Kingdom Death Monster and the previous one a little bit, and this is Aeon Trespass Odyssey. I remember during the campaign, a couple of people, and probably quite a few people actually, referencing Aeon Trespass at Odyssey as a mixture of Seventh Continent and Kingdom Death Monster. Like if Seventh Continent and Kingdom Death Monster had a baby, it would be Aeon Trespass Odyssey. Not having ever played this game yet myself, I don't know that to be true, but that's a pretty intriguing tagline for someone like me who obviously likes the concept of Kingdom Death Monster and the exploration and stuff from Seventh Continent. And the miniatures, if I remember correctly, from Aeon Trespass Odyssey looked amazing. So we're looking forward to getting this one on the table in the next year as well. So kind of along that same line with the boss monster game, we've got Primal: The Awakening. The miniatures for this game are insane, and they're huge. And I don't know, here, this is what I wanted to talk about. This is what kind of intrigues me about this game. I don't know if you need to, but it's a good idea in what looks like a section of the hobby, like these campaign games, these big miniatures games. You need to do something. I shouldn't say need to. It's a good idea, or it's intriguing for me maybe to say to do something a little different. And the board for this game and the combat for this game are intriguing to me. I don't think there's like a big world map or anything like that. This kind of looks just like Kingdom Death Monster, where you're going through, you're taking down big boss monsters, and there's a ton of items to craft. But again, it's another game that's got the miniatures that I'm really looking forward to painting. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this game, it compares to Aeon Trespass Odyssey, how it compares to Kingdom Death Monster. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this game. I hadn't really heard much about this game, and I've said his name a couple of times already, but this is the one that Kanjay actually turned me on to looking at. So thanks, Kanjay, for that. So that's Primal. And sticking with the boss monster theme, Townsfolk Tussel. This one's really light, and it's going to be kind of silly, and it does look interesting. And honestly, I'm really kind of looking forward to the challenge of painting this one, because I want to try to paint this one in these kind of solid, muted colors. So not really going for the huge highlights and the deep shadows. I want my miniature to look like this, look like a cartoon with solid orange, and this kind of muted orange yellow color and like the green fishpole. You know, I want it to look like this. So that's going to be kind of a fun challenge. And this is not going to be like a serious KDM or Primal, but it looks fun. I mean, I did watch gameplay of this, and when I backed this, kind of like the other ones, I must have been in a real big boss monster mood, because this is really another boss monster game. So that's Townsfolk Tussel, and I think that's the last one I got on my list. So again, just to wrap up here real quick, are any of the games that I talked about here on your radar? Are there any that I left off the list? I just wanted to go through these and be like, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be delivering. I think it's going to be delivering between now and hopefully the end of 2022. A lot of campaign games to play, a lot of hours to get through, a lot of miniatures to paint. So again, leave me comments down below on any of these that you're excited about or any that I missed. Okay, I hope you're enjoying everything that's going up on the channel. Expect more stuff going up. Expect some Middara soon, and also Descent. It should be delivering fairly quickly here within the next week and a half. I'll get that stuff primed and painted up and up on the channel. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.